Good morning, welcome to the Art Money Talk. My name is Mo. Today I have a very interesting question I found in a Facebook group. Is art style something you develop over time or choose? I would say an art style is something you choose to develop. First you make initial choice and then you make some micro adjustment as you go. So the initial choice can be based on your education, your parents, your professor, your friends, perhaps the books you read, the language you speak, the town you grow up in, many things that perhaps you're not even aware of. And the little adjustment you make, when you started working as an artist, perhaps according to the time you have, the money you have, and maybe some art market trends. It all comes down to one thing, decision making. It has been studied by philosophers, economists, and psychologists. They have raised some very interesting questions like, what are the factors that made you make these choices in your life? And when you say follow your heart, is that really your heart you're following or just a set of constraints or suggestions? If you have time, I highly recommend you to read the books by Benedict de Spinoza. Spinoza is one of the most important philosophers and the most radical of his time. He wrote in his book, The Ethics, in the mind, there's no absolute or free will, but the mind is determined to wish this or that by a cause, which has also been determined by another cause, and this last by another cause, and so on to infinity. To my understanding of the text written by Spinoza, he is trying to say that the free wills are not really free, it is based on your past, and your past choices are based on the past of your past. Like the dominoes, one falling onto another, and we cannot really tell, where is the first domino that has been pushed over. And we are, in many ways, slaves to our own past. If you ask Spinoza, is art style something you choose or you develop over time? I bet he'd say it's the same thing. Your choice is based on the development in your life, and you develop this art style because of the choices you have made in your life. But why would you choose this art style, not the other? Do you have a smartphone? Why would you choose this phone instead of another phone? Let's play a game. Imagine choosing an art style is like choosing a new phone. What are the determinants? Here I found 3. Number 1, your knowledge. It's like when you choose a phone, you rely on your own experience and your knowledge about smartphones. Perhaps you have had one before that you really liked, so you say, okay, I want this brand, and then you research into different models, you find the latest model you like, you read some reviews on the internet, you talk to your friends about it, the pros and cons of using this phone, and finally you decide if this is the right phone for you. Same for art style. Perhaps you went to art school, perhaps you are self-taught, and you're exposed to different art styles. You try them yourself and you say, hey, this style is good for me. You talk to your peers, other fellow students, and maybe you meet a gallerist and go to museums, and finally you make your decision that you want to pursue this art style. Number 2, current technology. Well, a few decades ago, we didn't have smartphones. Now we have some great models. We have, iPhone, we have Huawei, we have Samsung, we have plenty of choices. If you want a phone that is transparent, flexible, waterproof, and the battery lasts all year, well, unfortunately, we don't have that technology yet. And technologies today is driven by public companies, private companies, and some military forces as well. And they're driven by those people. And unfortunately, not artists. And artists have to rely on other scientists to develop such technologies so they could use in their art. Of course, I'm not saying that art is not important. Art is super important, and it has always been the main inspiration that inspired scientists to develop and discover new things. But after all, it is NASA who sent us to the space, not MoMA. Today we have virtual reality, we have 3D printing, we have hologram, we have 4K cameras in the size of a credit card. We have some great stuff that we can use to develop our art style. The art styles we can use is both powered by and limited by our current technology. Number 3, financial means. The latest iPhone is great, but I'm not going to spend over $1,000 on the phone. Well, this pricing point doesn't work for me. I think price is by far the most single important factor behind every purchase. And the most insensitive person on earth is at least price sensitive. Being an artist is a lifestyle, is a profession, and is a business. No matter what art is to you, it costs money. So if you say, hey, I want to cover my sculpture with diamonds like Damien Hirst for the love of God, if you can afford it, that's great. That's a very beautiful art style and a very beautiful lifestyle. But if not, you have to work with what you have and develop an art style that works for you for this moment. You may say, I'm not a multimillionaire, I'm not a rocket scientist, I'm just an artist with very limited resources. What kind of art style should I choose? Well, that's a very interesting question, and that's a question for another day. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.